Okay, just so you know, my presentation screen won't show me anybody that's joining, so forgive me if I miss them. I'm familiar with Zoom, but not from the presenting side. I'm usually a participant, so hopefully there'll be little alert that will pop up, and we won't miss them.
They'll
But
probably email me too if they show up and are
okay,
waiting.
great, awesome. Well, in that case, I'll get started. Hopefully, there'll be some time for questions at the end. If not, Taylor has my contact information. If you want to learn any more about what we do, or you have any questions afterwards, so I'll get started. My name is Ricky. I'm the CEO of a company called Aiir. For those unfamiliar with our brand, we're a creative technology company, just over 20 years old, and we help broadcasters create radio. Whether that be through powerful automation. We predominantly work with radio stations. We have a full suite of digital products, including mobile apps, websites, digital content distribution, and our new product, which is featured in this slide at the bottom right, our world's first music scheduler that's based in the cloud. We really do try to help people simplify their studio environment. So what I'm hoping to cover today with you guys is less of a sales pitch, more of a technical look at how we help our customers be more efficient, what we've learned from COVID-19 and how we pivoted our development efforts for the studio to be able to help people during that time. And what we're doing right now with the studio considered being absolutely anywhere. I think COVID has really put that into the front and center of a broadcaster can be absolutely anywhere when they need to be. But also with that comes simplicity. It doesn't mean that we are compromising on quality. So what I'm hoping to show you is, first up, our automation system and how we're really simplifying everything to do with automation and radio. This is what it looks like. This is probably the only front end screenshot you're going to see of the system. This is what you would normally see in a control room. We have a variety of apps, but this is basically a very quick overlook of it. It's got the log on the right hand side, which is a living log. It's very live, so you can scroll forward and back through time. At the bottom left of this is our media finder. If you have more than one station in a cluster, all of your audio is all in one place here. And the top bit is what we call our on-air dashboard widget. Big green button, very, very simple. Hit it and it'll play something next. One of the most important parts of our automation system is the apps that come along with it, the apps that the presenters, the studio hosts never see, but the engineers do. This is one of them, Monitor. If you're an engineer, this is going to be your best friend. It sits on the server and it gives you an active update of everything that's happening with the radio station. It makes sure that audio is playing. It'll send you alerts. It monitors other applications that are on the system to make sure that it's open. And this also licenses the software as well. So this will look at all of your applications across your entire clusters of stations, whether they all be in the same building or in different rooms, whatever it may be, to make sure everything is really, really active. This really, really should be your best friend. What we've done quite recently is built in a lot of redundancy. So as part of Monitor, you can set up backups that are off-site. We have some of our clients that really do like completely isolated systems that then back up off-site to a transmitter site or to a different cluster, actually, for disaster recovery. So we do that in a couple of different ways. You can obviously have a standby server, and that standby server can sit right next to the machine, or it can be in the same building or on the same network. We do a cloud backup that will back up to something like Dropbox or OneDrive, Google Drive, those types of devices. And that will take an entire backup of everything in real time. So as you're making changes inside the studio, it's syncing that data up to the cloud to make sure that it has a complete redundancy and backup on site and also off site, which is really, really cool. Another thing that is tied into that backup aspect of our system is Synchronizer. Now, I really, really love this. We have a couple of stations. Personally, myself, I own radio stations that has the same format, but completely different locations, different parts of the country, actually. But we don't really want to duplicate the work that we're doing inside of the studio with uploading, a new song, a new piece of production, a new commercial, and then that having to be done again somewhere else. Synchronizer allows us to literally do what it says, synchronize the piece of information, the audio, logs, databases from one location to another in real time. So if we had to add a commercial into our studio in New York, it will boom off to Knoxville, Tennessee, as soon as it's ready. This also is very, very cool for some of our clients that use hot standbys at transmitter sites. So we have a few clients that will literally have a server running in sync with what is happening inside the studio at the transmitter site, just in case, and it can switch to that if anything goes wrong with the studio feed. Any changes you can synchronize in real time, and that includes like voice tracks, any kind of production, segues. All of that data is just sent straight over to the other system, and it really is a fantastic little application. Also built into Monitor is what we call metadata outputs. So metadata outputs, I'm not going to teach you guys new tricks. You pretty much know what this is. Now playing information, pretty much. What is the song? What is the artist? And other information as well. We have clients that will sync their promotional messages or commercials to RDS, HD radio, all of that kind of stuff. And you've probably seen the QUU application where they're doing that with HD radio. We've made it super, super simple for you to connect multiple outputs. So like TuneIn is a great example. Most radio stations will be on TuneIn. You can just put your credentials in there, what they call their Air API, hit OK, and then you can choose to send that data over. We work with obviously pretty much most third-party providers, but if there's anything here that you don't see, you'll see the TCP, UPD, HTTP post, where you can build your own access or connections to your devices. This is a really, really cool feature. You can send data as well through your internal system. So if anyone's using beautiful screens in your studio that say what's on air now, who's coming up, studio information, nice screens outside the studio of what the current song is playing. We can send that internally as well. So this is not just an external tool. It really is quite versatile and nice. We also have these two applications. If you're familiar with programs like AIM, Mr. Master, this is a very, very similar setup to this. This works with AIM and Mr. Master. File copy on the left-hand side is basically a solution that will go anywhere on a local network to an FTP site, HTTP post, a Dropbox folder, whatever it may be, grab a copy of whatever that may be, and then send it somewhere else. So for this example that this is set up, we're just going to say commercials. So our traffic system has sent a nice new commercial for us to upload. We've set a little bit of a program here that goes, okay, if you see anything that's inside brackets, that's going to be the ID number. And then the rest of it is title artist. So title dash artist. So this will pick up a copy, send it over to our program that's called Auto Importer, and import that directly into the system. And you can set this up in a sense that you can ask it to do it, look at these folders and monitor them in real time, or you only want a certain thing to happen at a certain time. So another great example of this, one of my stations takes Scott Shannon's America's Greatest Hits. We know that comes in on a Thursday. So we say, oh, okay, you only need to monitor this folder on a Thursday, and at Thursday at 10 a.m., go and check the network. Has the network dropped in the feeds? Yes, it has. Download them, convert them to the file name that we want, and then drop them into another folder. And then Auto Importer will literally pick those up, import them into the system. So there's no need for anyone in the studio to be going and uploading pieces of audio like this, especially if it's coming from a network remote. One of our bigger things that we've worked on quite a lot, you guys might like this as engineers, is data controller. We've built in the majority of the main players here, Axia, Wheatstone, SAS, to completely, very quickly put in your information, and this will connect to your Telos Axia network. I'm going to just mention Telos because I use those guys personally at my facilities. What this will enable you to do is all the GPIO loveliness that you would do manually with cables on an Axia network. This can also help you do switching. Switching works incredibly well with our automation system from the front end as well. So we can actually put things inside the logs like commands that go, please put the computer after this show is in automation, and also move it from the On Air studio to the rack, because there's no one in the studio, and then it frees up the entire studio. We also have commands that we call hotkeys, and I'll talk more about those in a short while. And we've built those commands into hotkeys as well. And I'll talk a little bit later about that. One of the things that is brand new actually to us this year is Audio Engine. Audio Engine is a wonderful beast, multiple stations, one PC. And this is what it looks like in the server environment. So this is currently showing 3 different stations that are broadcasting from one system. Why is this important for a radio station these days? If you've got HD channels, you want to spin up a separate station, you can literally do this now within seconds. So you call us, we add another license, and you can spin up an Audio Engine very, very quickly. So if you've got that Christmas music station coming up, you could have been planning this whilst you're on the beach in August playing Christmas music. What Audio Engine also does is give us powerful routing. So each individual engine has its own audio settings. And this is what this looks like. This is one of my favorite things. So you can really do a lot of clever routing. Salvos, I'm a little less technical to know the full sense of salvos or what they actually mean, but I'm told that means that you can pretty much get audio from anywhere and send audio anywhere. So this entire engine will find any audio device that is connected to Windows, whether that be a virtual sound card like WheatNet or the Axia audio driver or VB cables, Dante, anything like that that Windows will see. And you can really do some clever routing. At the beginning, when I showed you the control room, you would have noticed 4 players at the bottom of the studio environment. This also allows you to control those players. You can have up to 8 if you wish. The majority of our clients tend to opt for 4. I personally, if I've got a machine in a box that's a pop-up station, like a Christmas station, I'll just have one and have it all come through one item. Built into the audio buses here at the bottom, you'll see one that is labeled A, streaming. Also has streaming encoders built directly into this as well. So you can really have a one place, one solution for all of your audio routing down here. And P is also showing logging. Monitor also has audio logging. So for compliance, especially in the UK, where I originate from, if the accent didn't give it away, you're required to record all of your output for 90 days. So this allows you to bring in audio either directly from the studio or from an FM tuner or something like that back into the system, so you can record it directly in here and have those logs if you needed it to. So that's Audio Engine. This was actually a project that we were supposed to work on during the COVID years, should I say. And we actually pressed pause to really work on our studio environment, WebVT, which I'm going to talk to you about just a little bit later on. But one thing that also can be used for the Audio Engine is what we call splits. So as you can see, this setup right now is for 3 different stations, but we have some of our clients, like B Radio, for example, that have splits. So B radio is basically a network of radio stations all called the same, but they're all on different transmitter sites. So 95.6, which might freak you guys out a little because that's not a channel that people broadcast on in the States, is based in Reading, Berkshire in England, and 106.5 is based in Hampshire and Surrey. Now, one of the co-founders and the group's content director, Gavin Harris, an incredibly smart man, loves to work simply and smarter rather than harder, came to us and actually said, guys, I've got all of these stations. I'm going to do split IDs. So I guess the way that we might think of that here is if you've got multiple stations broadcasting the same output and you need to change the legal ID at the top of the hour, instead of running the same legal ID, you could potentially set up an audio engine to spit out different audio to those different transmitter sites. Well, that means that we then have to get someone in production to make a piece of audio, put in the legal ID, mix that down and send the audio to the station. Gavin said, no, I don't want to do any of that. I want to actually just have one piece of production, and then the split element, I just want to be the voiceover. And we were like, why would you want to do that? His word was, because I'm lazy and I don't want to do 15 pieces of production of going across Berkshire, across Reading, across Basingstoke, across the South, across Portsmouth. I just want to make one piece of production, upload the voiceover, because the station's not moving. It's always going to be across Basingstoke or across Berkshire, wherever it is. The frequency is not changing, and I can put the dry elements in there. So could we do splits, but the split element is only the voiceover. Hold on, I think we've got someone coming in. Let me just click admit. And we were like, that's an interesting concept and incredibly smart. So yes is the answer. So we gave this a go. So I'm about to play you a couple of pieces of audio. Excuse me, let me just take a quick drink. The first piece of audio you're going to hear is a production shell with all of the elements that have been mixed in, but it's got some glaring holes in it. So it doesn't sound great. And I'm going to call that, just for the purpose of this demo, the mothership. So I'm going to hit play on this, and we're going to have a listen to what that production cell sounds like.
What's up, everybody? This is Ariana Grande.
Hello, I'm Luis Capaldi.
This is Selena Gomez. Hey, this is Taylor Swift.
This is B Radio.
So it obviously has some glaring holes in there. The next piece of audio I'm going to play you is going to be for Berkshire, and we're going to fill the holes in. But what you'll actually hear is a transmission side element of it going out. But what is actually happening in the background is the mothership is playing that shell, and then the split network on 95.6, that audio engine is only playing the dry voiceover. So this is what it sounds like when the mothership plays the shell and the split is just playing the voiceover.
Taylor Swift.
This is
95.6
B Radio.
So it's filling in the gap. And I'm just going to play you one more that shows a different element of this.
Hampshire and Surrey.
What's up, everybody? This is Ariana Grande.
Hello, I'm Luis Capaldi.
This is Selena Gomez. Hey, this is Taylor Swift.
This is
106.5
B Radio.
So that gives you a very, very quick, brief scenario. So how does that actually look? Let me see if I can just get past, because this is supposed to play the audio through the... So this is what the audio engine looks like doing this. So you will see the computer in the background in the studio. We finished playing a track. It's now playing the local ID. So from the mothership, it's only playing that dry shell, nothing in it, no frequencies, no across Berkshire and Surrey. And then you'll see the, in fact, let me zoom in on this a little so you can see this a little closer. You'll see the network is only playing the dry splits. Now didn't work great when we first launched this or tried this. There was a lot of toing and froing, figuring out timing, because STLs are not all the same. There's delays getting to transmitters and stuff like that. So we really, really defined that with Gavin. And he is genuinely one of the smartest people that I know in radio programming, because now he has all of these elements that he produces once, and then the dry voiceovers come in and the stations sound incredibly local. So again, how does that work for us in the States? A good example of that is a legal ID, where you'd make that legal ID once, and then you would just put the dry voiceover in a split. And a split on a computer, if it's just doing production like that, you can have 10, 20 different audio engines running from a single machine if you wanted to. Really, really smart piece of kit. And we've really nailed this one. And it's something that I'm incredibly proud of. And I know we're trying to roll this out to a couple of other clients who are experimenting with doing local output. With our system as well, you can also do split voiceovers. So if you're inside something like WebVT, which we're going to move on to next, you can actually do split links in a system where, I might be talking about Berkshire over here, but over here I'm talking about Hampshire and Surrey. So I want to talk to you about WebVT. We really doubled down on the development of this throughout COVID. This was actually released prior to COVID, but it really does mean that you can broadcast from anywhere within a web browser. I'll show you what it looks like. This is what it looks like in what our own browser, actually. So we built a browser that works with the Chrome engine. It's available for Mac as well as Windows. So it doesn't matter what device you're on, you can dial in to the WebVT interface and control, you can control all aspects of your radio station from here. This view here is actually me as an administrator. I have access to everything. So you'll see at the top of it where the news bulletin is currently playing out. There's a stop button, there's an auto button, and there's a play button. You can restrict people's access when they're in here to just their show, just their categories that they need access to, or full access like I've got right here. So I can actually run the radio station from this web browser completely. So I'll pop up what looks like this is what we call our seg editor. To get to this, you'll notice that the top microphone icon is now blue. You're just simply clicking on this, and this will bring you directly into this interface. I use this personally for doing all live remotes now. So I give somebody a USB microphone that they take a laptop with them, and they'll take a hotspot instead of a Comrex or anything like that. And out they go, and they can connect. And I like my guys, when they're doing remotes, to actually voice track into the system rather than doing live stuff. And the reason I choose to do that is because I like my guys to be present. I like them to be engaging with the audience and people in public and what they're doing. So this allows them to voice track very quickly ahead of time, get some breaks into here, and really craft them as well. So the way that you voice track is literally you press spacebar 4 times. Everybody knows how to voice track, so I won't go more into that. But once you've recorded it, you can really craft this like you would do in the studio. So you can drag and drop with your mouse. You can change the enveloping. You can, if you've spoken too long and you've hit the vocals or crashed them, you can make an adjustment. Or if you need to bring the song in a little bit because you want to be right up to the vocals on the next song, you can really do that here. As well as being able to voice track in this window, you can also record audio. So this is really cool for a number of cases. So again, in a live remote situation, if you were in the middle of talking to the mayor, for example, but you're not ready to break into the live broadcast, you could record that interview either in Adobe Audition or directly into the system here. This will cache it all locally. You can make changes, put all the edits in here, hit save, and that syncs back to the studio in real time. Why this is also really cool is, again, during COVID, your commercial production team, not in the studio, very difficult to dial into some automation systems. This would allow them to dial in, click add audio, upload the commercial or the piece of production, put the information in that it needs, the cart number, what type it is, hit save, and then off it goes back to the studio itself. One of the other things that we consistently got bugged about during COVID is this is all great, guys, but we have to be live. We have to do live broadcasts. And as you guys know, buying a Comrex unit or a tie line for every single talent is incredibly expensive. And yeah, we used to recommend our friends at CleanFeed. We still do for certain things, but we actually built it into the system. So second microphone, far left-hand side at the top, just underneath the one logo, you'll see it highlighted in blue. If you click on that in the system, this opens up what we call Live Mic. You'll see it connected in the middle, far right-hand side, you'll see the microphone is on. You'll also see above that the controls. It now says live. And on the item that is currently playing, the wonderful British band Eternal with Stay at 11 a.m. in the morning. So sober, so slow. What a lovely song. At the end of it, it's going to stop. So it has a stop icon at the end of that song rather than a green icon. So if I don't do anything, the radio station is going to go off air. So this is great for doing live shows. You're connected. But also, if you guys have any kind of sports games, you're doing play-by-play action, you can connect this with the routing that I mentioned earlier. And those hotkeys, if you've got an Axia network or something like that, you can pop up the hotkeys and go, please route the audio to Live Mic. And the guys have full control at the stadium or the game, wherever they're playing. So they can control all aspects of the station. They can take it out of automation. They can hit play on the next item. And they can turn off their microphone as well. You'll also notice there's a little section called ducking. We built this in for all of those wonderful presenters that love doing this with faders whilst they're talking. That works exactly that same way. You can press the ducking button, it will duck. You release it, it will go back up to normal. So you really do have full control of the radio studio, and all you need is a laptop, a microphone, and a internet connection, which is pretty much available in most places these days. As I mentioned, we have a web browser that we released. This is what it looks like when you log in. And the reason I'm showing you this is because we have many talent that work for multiple different stations as a freelancer, and they love this option where they can just save all of the credentials, all of the connection information for the multiple stations that they work on. And that, guys, is our automation solution. There's a couple of other things I'd like to talk to you about. And that's connecting with your audience. This might be something that's very useful for you guys. This part of the section is normally for programmers, but I wanted to talk about the technology behind what we've done with listener habits changing, finding new ways to interact, and owning your own platform. So first up, I want to talk to you about our mobile apps. Our clients really wanted people to be able to interact with them in the studio. The days have gone of having thousands of calls, unless you're in a major market, every single day. I use my own mother as a great example. I've been in radio since I was 15. She comes into the studio to sit down and will, read a book, be on her phone while she's in the studio. Radio does not faze her. She doesn't care about it. She doesn't really understand it. There's many times I've been in her car and said, oh, you're listening to a really low quality DAB station here, because she's in the UK. Let me change that to the FM. It'll be better. And she was like, no, don't touch it. It works. So I run most things by my mum. If I'm thinking of like, how would a listener react to that? She is literally a typical FM radio listener. But the one thing that she will not do, she will shout at a radio. She will absolutely know the right answer to the contest, but she will never, ever pick up a phone and call a radio station. Not interested, not bothered about it. However, when I showed her this feature, she was like, oh, I could see how that would be quite useful. So I don't really have to speak to anybody. So back in 2009, 10, we started to connect our mobile devices and apps directly to the studio. We have a feature, an application called Studio Inbox. Studio Inbox looks a little like this. And it's where all of your listener interaction can come in to the studio in one place. It used to have Twitter until Elon Musk got involved, but everything comes into here for text messages, emails, Facebook, Instagram, all come into here. The one thing that I love personally as a radio station owner is I no longer have to give access to our Facebook page or Instagram page to any member of staff, because from here, they can not only post to those social networks, but they can also interact. So as you can see, Timothy Collins has commented something here on a rock station, and you can like it, you can comment it, you can actually delete it from Facebook if you want. The same with text messaging. We enable radio stations' current phone-in numbers, the number that every listener has been aware of for years, to receive text messages. And from here, you can reply, you can set up contesting. But the main feature that I want to talk about is that mobile app section. If you go back to this slide, you can record a 30-second piece of audio, send a photo, and you can also send a direct message if you wanted to the studio. And that comes into here in real time. So we have a lot of our clients that would use that that push to talk kind of feature for like Mother's Day, Father's Day, Valentine's. But then we've had a couple of little surprises that have been sprinkled in that we just thought no one would ever use. The audio is broadcast quality. It's fantastic audio. And I'd love to play that to you at a different time and show you how this works on a one-on-one basis. But one of the features that we never thought that it'd be used for is literally live remotes or news recording. So we have literally had a client that would go, we're going to join Ricky now down at the school fete. He's there until 12. Ricky, what's going on? Hit play on the screen, and then it would be me at the school fete recording into the microphone. Hi, guys. Yeah, I'm down here. I'm now talking to blah, blah, yeah. And just precise in 30 seconds. We've even had radio stations use it to get audio back from news gathering, where people are just using their mobile phones directly in somebody's face to hit record for 30 seconds and getting that clip back to the studio. So it really is a fantastic thing. And listeners love it, absolutely love it. They'll happily jump in and say a comment. And that audio is not a 56K mono broken up piece of telephone audio. It's broadcast quality. The audio is fantastic. Opted out of this just so it protects some of our listeners. It has their phone numbers attached to it as well, so you can call them back or you can FaceTime them, whatever you're doing from your studio, to get real life interaction if you want to bring them up on screen as well. But it's a fantastic way that we have kind of modernized the interaction world. And that moves us slightly onto content and distributing. So I'm a big believer on giving Facebook and Twitter and Instagram nothing, little, if possible, from my radio station. I want the traffic. And the one thing that was very obvious to me as running a radio station, but also running a tech company that has a content management solution like this is our content management solution, is presenters would go, oh, but it's so much easier to just post a funny video directly onto Facebook. And I go, yeah, but that's great. But if you're posting that funny video, we don't get any of the traffic. We can't see, it's all there. So we made it incredibly easy to come into our system. You hit create a page, copy and paste a YouTube video directly into the page, and it would give you a preview straight away. And when you hit save, giving it a title, you get that little button that pops up at the bottom there that says post your page to social network. And you'll also see towards the right-hand side of this page availability. So, and also share to different sites. So say you have 3 CHR radio stations in your cluster. This is a piece of group content that's going to go out. You can select it to appear on those sites. You can select the time and date it appears. You can also schedule a post or a push notification directly to your mobile apps. And I use a very terrible example of this. These kind of features are all across our digital platforms, and no one's going to do this, but it's the best example I can go. No one has the hat of social media poster for the morning show or anything like that. So we built these tools for you to be able to get in here, get the work done, and then get out and continue with your normal day-to-day job. So the terrible example I give is you can turn up to your mobile apps, your digital, your social media feeds and go, here's everything you need for New Year's because it's January, everything you need for Valentine's, spring break, here's come summer, Halloween, happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Toodle Pip, I'll see you next January. And this will make sure that your content is on all of your digital platforms when it needs to be. More importantly, when it's not meant to be, it can be removed and hidden. Contests can end, social media posts can all posts. And talking of that, this is how this looks. So this funny video is great. I'm on air tomorrow morning, and I'm going to talk about this at 8:15 on my 8:15 break. Here's the video. I'm going to select my social media accounts, which of you can do multiple. So I'm going to say this needs to go to Facebook, and it also needs to go to Instagram there. And I'm going to hit send, but I want it to go out tomorrow morning, well, October the 24th, when this was created at 8 a.m. Now I can rely on that content being there whilst I'm on air. So I'm now concentrating on my show and my content, and I can rely on that content to be posted to our social feeds. What that also means is that when our listeners see it on our social feeds, they're going to have to click a link. It's going to come back to our website, and I'm getting the impressions. So this is what I talk to people about most, about owning their own platforms. Super important to give the social medias little, use it to promote, use it as a valuable tool, use it to do lives and push people towards your shows and stuff like that. But when it comes to content, get it on your own platforms first and then push it out. So this screen is basically doing the exact same thing, where now at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, or whenever I want this to be, I'm going to do a push notification to our mobile apps. So the app screen will come up, that push notification that you'll get from Fox, CNN, ABC News for your news notifications. Very similar, comes up and they can press the button. And if you've got the web URL in here, it will actually open up that website and play you that video. You can actually choose whilst you're selecting this page here as well, of whether you want it to open up inside the application or you want the application to open and then it's going to open up an external web browser as well. So we've really helped people to simplify what they're doing in the world of studio and audience. This is pretty much the end for me, guys. This is the end of my presentation. But Air really does strive on making people save time and being able to create radio, doing it with very simple and easy to use technology. Guys, thank you very much for your time. If you've got any questions or if you'd like me to go back into the presentation to cover anything off or to speak in more in depth, then I'd be delighted to do that. Awesome. Well, in that case, I will stop sharing my screen. I think I can do this by pressing escape. And then Teddy, would you like me to hand back to you? I don't know how I do that in.
Yeah, towards the bottom of your screen, you'll find the participants button.
Ah, there it is. Yeah, I've got it. Hand presentation. To you. Awesome. Guys, thank you for allowing me to come and talk about our products. If you have any other questions or if you'd like me to talk about them now, I'd be delighted to do that. But in the future, if you want, ricky@air.com, you can send me a note. I'd love to talk to you more in depth about any of our features or products and how it might help you guys in broadcasting.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Take it easy. Bye now.
You too. Okay.